what are the root causes as to why operators tend to need to intervene in the system? And they run a gamut of reasons, but they're pretty within these five groups. So oftentimes your controllers are poorly tuned, and so they don't have the best control. So operators will take the control out, put it in manual and make their adjustments, or adjust the set point changes because it's a lot easier for them. And the other is around valve and instrument degradation. This is a good metric to, a good way of see, or at least for the operators, when valves are sticky. This is another reason why they would take the controller out of automatic and, or put it in manual and override the controller itself, because the valves are sticking, so it takes a while to move, or too much, it requires too much output to move, and so don't have really good control with that. Another very common one in some of our processes is when we have multiple loop interactions. So several loops, or one loop is causing multiple loops to behave in an undesired way. And again, this is where the operators will go in, take one or several loops out of auto, or put them in manual, and make it changes so that will control their process a little bit better. Another common one I've seen several times is around inappropriate control strategies. So the system may have, you pointed, Eric, that some of your systems existed, 50, 60 years ago. We have control loops that may have been configured several, quite some time ago, but the design of the equipment has changed somewhat. And so we have an incorrect control strategy with the existing design. And so again, operators tend to put the controllers in and out of auto, or do separate changes to, to make their lives a little bit easier. And I just touched on process design. But knowing what these root causes are and being able to identify why the operator intervention metric is high is then enough information for us to actually go out and solve these. These are all engineering type problems that can be solved in different ways, but we at least need to know what the root cause is.